the administrators cannot dip into the monies. But on an annual basis, you're expecting the administrators to present accounts to the Commission within 6 months, which are audited and have an actual valuation. And those are all guys that need to be paid in advance. Who's meant to meet that cost? If you can answer me on that one. Thank you.
Granted, we understand the fund administrator of the life office cannot be offering a free service. But the question is, you've got a service agreement, which is saying your admin fee should come from, will be a certain proportion of the contributions that are coming into the fund. So if you want to change that, you need to go back to the fund members and say, guys, our basis of the admin fee was the contribution, but now there's no contribution coming. What do we do? Rather than making a unilateral decision, you dip into the fund. And meanwhile, the members are thinking that our fund will not be touched by the administrator.
So in the event that it's not changed, is it acceptable not to do work on it?
It's not,
on that book?
It's not acceptable.
Okay. And then the last one that I have for the Commissioner, it's my request as an administrator within the pension funds, because there's a lot of talk on maintaining data for years and whatever, to have data integrity. But you find most systems being used by administrators, they are foreign systems. And those systems need to be paid for. And unfortunately, they do not appear on the priority list of banks. So foreign payments are becoming a challenge. And some are even threatening to switch off systems. So as administrators, we're putting a plea to you to speak to the authorities that be, so that at least they can be prioritized until such a time our local guys are able to provide systems that can provide all this information that is required. Thank you.
Yes, very interesting question. We'll try to talk to the Reserve Bank authorities on that, but I can tell you what they will ask me, and that is, are there no suitable local systems? What answer should I give them?
There are no suitable. It's a plea, because you can't move from a system overnight, unfortunately. So we're just asking you to keep it at the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will do.
Okay. And then any questions from the floor? Okay, we'll start with ladies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My question maybe is to Commissioner Data on the issue of bond yields. Our bond market in Zimbabwe at the moment is really, I don't know whether I should say, there's really not an active bond market. So what do we do in terms of like the risk on rate? Because in the absence of that bond yield, it's really difficult for us to.
Do you want to answer it?
I think it's accepted. The critical issue that's there is, we are saying, in our current circumstances, we would expect some sort of risk-free rate from ICAZ if they were doing all the functions that they're supposed to be doing. But if you heard me well, we are saying we have to come up with basis of deriving yield curves. Okay? And we are doing this on the basis of a coordinated effort, be it ICAZ, IPAC, and any of the people represented here who have an interest in this and expertise. Okay. It will be very difficult to say IPAC give us a rate, or ICAZ give us a rate. So what was happening here is actually a coordinated effort from all parties to come up with a yield curve on the acceptance of exactly the point that you're bringing out.
Next question? Sorry. Give me one of the two.
Thank you. Earlier when you presented on April 17, you touched on the premium allocation method. This is Mr. Ryan. You touched on the premium allocation method. And then you mentioned that there is a second method which you just showed on the presentation, but you didn't shed more light on. Can you kindly maybe explain and then just show the difference between them?
Thank you. I was tied on time, huh? But the most important part is that the premium allocation method, and there's the other one is the cost method, to just focus on the cost that you're incurring. The premium allocation method is the one that's much more preferred and is the most robust because it starts from underwriting. So when I say I'm underwriting a product, underwriting is the development of a premium. So these are the risks that I'm going to be, this is the model, this is, and when I develop a premium, I'm saying this would actually be able to invest to cover the risk. I'll add up a profit. I'll also then, for the services that mean and every other service, this is the margin that I'm adding. And any other things, you add it in that premium. Now when you go accounting, it means that the premium is loaded with performance obligations. One, to invest on behalf of the policyholder. Two, to service the, so the accounting is then derived from that. Whereas if you cannot come to that, you can then go for the cost approach, say, what are my costs? In other words, what are my obligations which I spend money on as an insurer? Because at times, especially where you now have, we've got certain contracts that went into paid up, and you now have only costs and not premiums, and you moved over to Zim dollars, to US dollars from Zim dollars. You can't go back and talk about the premiums that are not there anymore. But you then have to account for the obligations, which is the cost side of things that we're looking at. Whereas from short term, they said there's an option not to necessarily go the premium approach, because I know exactly in the short term, 1 year, 2 years, what are my obligations if I've got a 1 year contract. So just focus on what I'm supposed to pay, which is the cost approach. So that's the bit. But like I said, we're going to dig deep and actually get to the detail of all these and the actual application to a point of taking a contract and saying, how do I apply the premium method or cost approach on this contract?
Good afternoon. I have a question for Commissioner Daka. When you started, you indicated that you don't have the mandate maybe to go into the details of the commission. But some of us are curious maybe just to find out, how far the work has gone on the conversion of pensions. My second question is for the regulator on offshore investments. How far have we gone? Still in the area of pensions. Thank you.
I'll kindly hand over to the Commissioner.
Everyone is anxiously awaiting the report. What we can say is that the report is ready, but it hasn't been released to the Ministry of Finance. So once it is, and the Ministry of Finance takes it to the President's office, and the President approves its publication, then we will have the report. As for offshore, I'm not sure what you're asking, whether we are approving offshore investments or not.
Yes.
Well, I think we are not at the moment, but we are looking into whether it is possible under the current subdued economic environment, but we are not at the moment.
My question is related to the Commission. The draft bill that was released sometime last year it seems it allows for insurance companies to give or to issue policies on credit. And at the same time, the Commission is saying that they are not going to recognize premiums that are above 90 days. So isn't there a sort of a conflict in what is happening? The draft bill that is coming through is allowing for insurance on credit, and we are saying no to that.
I think what's most important on underwriting, or when you are issuing a contract, it's for an entity to understand its business and create a policy in terms of the timing. So if I actually provide business to corporates, I can actually underwrite business on credit. Because there's an understanding, I do credit risk check on those entities. But what's most important is to come up with that policy that says, for this, when it goes above 90 days, then you actually have to reverse that business. So it's understanding, but if it's individuals or it's a book, an insurance company that can be providing corporate individuals and so forth, what it simply is saying is, in our environment, cash is not coming through, an initial payment on day one is not coming through. But rather the entity is the onus to create a policy to say what is viable, what makes sense in the context of writing and the nature of their clients and the business that they're underwriting. So it will be very important. I think this is a discussion that came a long back from 2012, where the debtors, where the key question was, is it a reversal of revenue or it's a write-off? There was a big question there. You then come to the end of the year, you've been looking at this debtors piling, and then you come and say, I'm doing a debtors provision, the write-off. What was never business? Because according to your policy, if you have a policy that says, day one, then that's your policy, and you stick to it, which means you won't underwrite credit. But based on the nature of the clients, they actually pay, then you can underwrite, but there should be a clear policy for the entity.